Discovery, the first day of the Alaskan trip, right?
Yep.
You ready, Sandy? Here we are. Okay.
Ready.
So I saw on the map what the name of the river was, but I don't remember now. Okay. Oh, and we're in Discovery 3. I guess that's probably 2 and there's 1.
Figures,
But yeah. It was a hiker that was using it. 900 people at home. It is. Walk on down here, Sandy.
Good book selection for kids and adults. A whole room full of things for kids and grandkids called Cow Winners with the light colored with glory. And again, if you have any questions, just ask our crew. And they'll be happy to take care of it.
All right, well, kind of forever fans. God is big all the time. All the time, God is big. So they only get 12 inches of rain here in Fairbanks. It almost considered a desert because of that level. But everything looks very beautiful. Flowers here. Things are just gorgeous. Hey, what kind of forever fans? We are on a Riverboat Discovery here. Hello. Well, thank you. Okay, I figure I'll let my group figure out where they're headed toward.
Where do we want to go?
Okay, up.
I think we want to go up.
Yep.
For me, anyway.
Yep. You guys good?
Two rows, unless you want to go 3 rows.
We only need about 39 inches of water. That's why our life jacket drill doesn't take very long. In fact, I don't even know why they make us carry it on our top of that. Oh no, we're sinking! It's over. Put your life vest on and walk the shore. You don't even get it wet. In fact, if you're over 39 inches tall, we might ask you to get out the push. Are you over 39 inches tall? Well, by the way, before we get too far from Little Discovery 1, let's go out to the monitor and I'll show you a video clip of what this trip looked like in its very early days. And Julie Mary, that's Fisher's great-grandparent, would come out and start this whole thing, greet their guests, and do most of the work by themselves, with Jim at the helm and Mary doing the narration after they made everybody's calls to be done. But even though today's boat can hold 900 people, the content of the trip They stay very true to the original idea. Sharing our native cultures with you and dog mushing it away, I think you're going to remember. We'll talk about the houses, of course, what the land values are like and how people build along the river. What kind of strange population will all live somewhere in neighbors like ours. And on that subject, let's be sure that we're all oriented as far as where we're at, because I'm hoping you all figured out Alaska is not a little island southwest of California like they always see it on the map. In a box. We're up a little higher than that. About 17 miles from the ground. It's still 1 2. Because you're all right. You're all right. Very critical in the present too, because little villages get surrounded by snow and ice way out there, and the only way in or out is a plane like that one on speed. And these pilots care about the people they serve too. This is not just a job. In fact, one of my favorite stories out of the 1950s, I think, there was a guy that flew a route over a hill. There were 2 little girls in the family. The family was right on top. This girl was right there. But they were taking out that hill all the way to the top. We'll probably learn how to do this because if you're going to land on a tiny little lake surrounded by tall trees, you can't always make a nice gradual descent. Sometimes you gotta just force through it right down. So there's lots of water in front of you. So here's another one. And then you find cushion there to ride in. And then that plane flares at the very end. Pilot can't see the water. So this last bit is always done by feel and using the ride and a lot of experience. But this cabin better one left over there. The house if you want more. They're small in the cabin, so cabin for toys. Like high plane, private dock. to stay that long. If not, we'll just go right back to the monitor and show you frozen Chena River at a time of year when our dog mushers get really excited. Like the great Susan Butcher, ditching up the team and ready to go for a training run right out the backyard. All the frozen Chena from Trail Breaker Kennels. I guarantee you, she's every year. In cancer, not stolen her from us. In 2006, when she changed the idea around forever. Ford Breaker's first mother to ever do it. Male or female. With a great lead dog brand, she got a team all the way top off the top of the alley, invited to the White House by 3 different presidents in 1 week.
Young mushers. So here's what it looks like at Trail Breaker. Now you look to the left, you can see our summertime view. And we aren't just going to float by here either. We're going to stop and stay and turn this boat into a big grandstand for you. So I can introduce you to the young lady we just saw running dogs in the wintertime, the future of Trail Breaker Kennels, and of course, Susan Butcher's eldest daughter, Tekla Butcher-Monson. Nice to see you over there.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trail Breaker Kennel. It's a beautiful day here on the banks of the Chena River, and I feel so lucky because I get to share it with dogs. We've got a team of adult Alaskan Huskies fully ready for the morning training. That's going to be an awesome demonstration for you folks. But before we work with adults, let's spend some time talking about the youngest members of our kennel. So these two little pups are just 8 weeks old, and they're running around here, believe it or not, almost cuddling and adventuring. This is part of the sled dog training process.
Yeah, well, gotta have another Iditarod starter kit. Roll it out and get ready for the future. You know, every time I see the puppies, I'm reminded of how your mom made an effort to get to know each one of these dogs as an individual. That's how she discovered Granite against all the odds. But how early in the life of these little ones does that bonding begin in any significant way?
My mom taught me that you need to start bonding with your pups during that first month of their life. During the first couple weeks, we would actually go in with the mothers, pet her, make sure all the pups were doing well, and then pick up each little dog individually and blow across their noses. Now, this is important because for the first 10 days of their life, their eyes aren't open yet. So they're very dependent on a sense of smell to get used to us. Once their eyes do open and they're kind of wandering around like these two, you can see that they already know the humans in their community. It's what my mom would call the trust and be trusted relationship. And that was so important to all of the training she did here. Now, at this stage, they're big enough to kind of wander around and explore, and the first obstacle we put in front of them is jumping over these logs. Now, at 4 weeks old, this was really challenging for them, so we would have to help the puppies. And now that they can confidently do it on their own, we praise them on the other side. And this teaches the pups that we are never going to ask them to go any farther or faster than they're capable of. And of course, we're always going to be there for them when things get tough.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like not very long ago that these little ones were struggling with those logs, and now they go over them very easily. You'll have them run around in the brush down here, and that's not much of a challenge anymore. But they're still way too small, obviously, to put into harness. So how are you going to bridge that gap when there's nothing left in the yard that they haven't already done?
Well, we'll start taking them out on daily walks in the woods. And it is so cool because they've got to go through more challenging terrain, kind of like the brush here on the riverbank. Now, at this stage, they're actually starting to get a lot faster than us. So we have to rely on older dogs to help train them through exam. Now, from 6 weeks or 6 months old, what we really want is to build their determination and confidence out on the trail. So we'll take a couple older dogs that we set as examples. They will maybe splash through a puddle or jump over a really big log. And the puppies do their absolute best to keep up. And so after months and months of playing follow the leader and running off leash on these walks around the property, they are set up for success to again learn by behavior, learn through example on the day when they do finally graduate and put their harness on for the first time.
Yeah, I know that's got to be exciting when you get to finally hitch them up and see what they can do on the team. But you know, you mentioned success, and obviously you want the timing to be right so they are successful, they enjoy it, and they want to do it again. How do you know when that moment is right to graduate from free running to harness breaking? You looking at age or weight, or what's the key to it?
Well, during that first winter, around 6 months to a year old, you can put them into that adult years comfortably. They lean into it and help move the sled forward. But even more importantly than their size, we want to make sure that the instinct to hold is there. The Alaskan Husky is so So we are going to foster a love and wrap it into their lives. So we're going to use older dogs to train the puppies. You hook up a couple of confident adult lead dogs right in front of you, and then 4 to 6 paddles behind them. You give these dogs the command to go, all right, and then we use our forward harnesses and they start farming out, chasing older dogs down the trail. And within just a few minutes from where we're standing on the sled, it looks like we have a small herd of dogs. I thought my mom had something to say, but Jackson, why don't you teach them to go? How did you teach them to go?
Well, speaking of their times, I think this much for me is kind of running out of patience. So as they get hitched up for the morning run, can you just put a new dog on the wheel on the line, or do they actually run positions like maybe a baseball player would?
Our first 2 dogs that were hooking up in the team were called lead dogs. Now, you may have heard the term lead dog before, because they're something that's really good. Their dogs scare you. Also, help hunters set their hunters for journey of walking bird feeders. So we don't have dogs running out there to play with their dogs. In the middle of the team, we've got team dogs. And the race like the other, we actually started off with 16 dogs in the team. So you can imagine how along the sides of the team are taking dogs for a walk. On the other, the closest to the sled, we're going to help our dogs. Sometimes you'll see a bigger or a burlier dog in this position because they are closer to the sled and they're further away. But obviously, in some days, we don't use the sled. Instead, we're going to use this bullpen. We can actually tap out the engine on this. So this is 100% dog power. These guys are going to have a lot of fun over there. And once we get that initial team going, they'll just keep the momentum up for about half an hour.
Look at this, where everybody picks up speed, leans in, a lot of power, and tackle is gone. We keep looking to the left, in between the 2 cabins and right out behind the dog pen. Because she's going to do a big U-turn and then come from our right to our left. Use the monitors. If that makes it easy, we'll have her on camera whenever we can see it. See, those lead dogs are setting the pace. The rest of the team falls in behind. All the dogs back here are...
Now, once the real mating call was used to lure the moose into the area, the hunter would use a bone-tipped spear to provoke the animal to charge. They would plant the spear in the ground at a steep angle, and when the moose came charging to stomp the hunter, it would impale itself on the tip of the spear. Then all the brave hunter had to do was roll out from underneath the heavy falling animal. Now, once the meat was processed, they would then prepare the hides for clothing, shelter, and lashings. They would start by scraping off all the flesh and fur using sharpened shin bones from a moose and a caribou. They were then left with a large piece of raw hide like this, which could then be cut into strips called babiche. Babiche was used as lashings to web snowshoes and as an all-purpose rope. Now, obviously, rawhide is much too stiff to be made into any type of clothing just yet, so to continue the tanning process, they would soak this in a solution of water and fermented moose brains. This milky fluid has acidic enzymes that help break down the tough fibers in the hide. Next, they would scrape the hide with a tool like this clebasse, which is similar to the ulu, except it has a serrated edge for scraping rather than cutting. And after weeks and weeks of soaking, scraping, and wringing out the hide, it is then reduced to a soft piece of material like this.
And to preserve all of their hard work, they would stretch the hide over a campfire and smoke it. You can always tell a true native tan hide by its rich, smoky smell. But now I'd like to share some traditional pieces of regalia with you. This is a ceremonial maiden's dress. And right over here is a ceremonial chief's coat. These are both museum quality garments made from tan moose hide and prepared using the same traditional methods that Dion just shared with you. Now, after contact with the Russians, the Athabascans began to trade furs for glass seed beads and became very well known for their intricate and beautiful beadwork designs. And all the flowers have symbolic meaning. On the maiden's dress, you'll find flowers that are commonly found in her village, such as the bluebell and our Alaska state flower, the forget-me-not. Now, these flowers on the chief's coat represent animal tracks in hopes of bringing the hunters good luck on the trap line. Both of these garments are trimmed with beaver fur, and the buttons on the chief's coat are cross-sections of moose antler. While those buttons on the maiden's dress are made out of cross-sections of caribou antler. This garment that you see the guides and I wearing are called kasbuks or tikluks, which are everyday working summer parkas. They're always handmade and often from our family patterns. But speaking of parkas, I really think you're going to like this next piece. Dion's wearing another beautiful piece of regalia, an Athabascan Yukon-style women's winter parka. It's all traditional, except for that big zipper running down the middle. That's there so we can get it on and off quickly on hot summer days. Traditionally, it would be sewn together and worn pullover style, and the main body of the parka is made out of beaver, which has been sheared for design, and is trimmed with calfskin, river otter, and timber wool. But now she's going to put out the sunshine ruff. You can see why it has that name. It does represent the sun. The outer part of the parka ruff is timber wool, while the inner part is wolverine. Now, like I said at our first stop, wolverine is always sewn closest to the face because it has a natural oil in it that helps prevent frostbite. Any leftover pieces would be sewn into these tassels, which are wolverine tips with timber wool. Dion would sew these on to show that her man was a great trapper and caught the tricky wolverine. Now she's going to turn around and show us the designs on the back. Beadwork and skin sewing techniques are passed down generation to generation, and each family has their own unique design. For instance, the artist who made this is from Fort Yukon, and this is her family's traditional wild rose pattern. Often, if a woman were to travel to another village, they can tell where she's from just by looking at those designs on the back. Thank you so much, Dion. Now, if you didn't get the picture that you wanted, we're the two lucky girls that get to model for you after the tour. Some interesting facts about the parka: it weighs 23 pounds and it was made for 40 below weather, so it does get quite hot in the summer. It took 8 months to make and is appraised for around $34,000. Dion only takes cash. It's really priceless to us, so if you do come take a look at it, we just ask that you please don't touch it, because we want to try and preserve it as long as possible. Well, it's been our pleasure sharing our culture with you today. We're both very proud of our Alaska Native heritage, and we hope that we left you with the understanding that the Athabascans were a very resourceful and talented group of people, who not only persevered through harsh conditions, but dealt with increasing Western presence on their ancestral lands. But before I let you go, let me tell you where a few important things are here at this village. Directly behind us is the post office where you can get your Granda book personalized. Further down that same path towards the river will be Fish Camp, where Hannah will be answering any questions. Here at the center of our village behind you, we have our fighting moose display, where you can go read about how two bull moose got their antlers bucked together to the end. Now if you head all the way down this path, it'll lead you to the dog yard, where a handler from Trailbreaker Kennels will be talking about dog mushing and answering any questions. Feel free to check out any cabins you see around the village. We just want to show you what early village life was like. But most important, when you hear the boat whistle, please hurry back on board as quickly as possible, or else you might be helping Hannah out at Fish Camp today. And also, we'll just ask you please set any of those seating pads here at the front benches, and also my native language Koyanak, which means thank you very much.
Yeah.